Today's tour of England's northwest on the Fylde coast in one of Blackpool's neighbouring towns, the traditional seaside resort of Fleetwood. Situated on the Fylde coast of Lancashire, Fleetwood was founded over 150 years ago as a resort for Victorian gentlefolk. It once had a thriving fishing industry, which you can still see evidence of today. Although the fishing industry isn't anywhere near as big as it used to be, Fleetwood hasn't forgotten its roots. 2005 is Sea Britain, a maritime celebration across the UK, and Fleetwood's own museum is playing its part.
At the height of the Fleetwood trawler industry, if you go back, say, the 1930s, it employed 4,000 men and boys out at sea, and the fish that was landed in Fleetwood supplied most of the northwest in fresh fish. It meant that Fleetwood economy was very, very heavily dependent on fishing. The decline of the industry has, in a way, triggered the decline of Fleetwood. Fleetwood's heritage is of major significance. It's what gives the town its identity, it's what people relate to, and it still has a very, very interesting and vibrant story to tell, along with all the other things you can do as part of a day visit or day trip in Fleetwood.
So what can we expect to see in this museum?
In this particular museum, fascinating stories about deep sea and inshore fishing, amazing natural history stories to do with the inshore and marine estuary and life. Quite a lot about the Victorian seaside holiday and boarding houses and that kind of experience.
Now, like all great seaside resorts, there has to be a pier. And Fleetwood's has a cafe, a bar, kids area, cabaret, beer garden, jetty, and that's all before you take in the views. It's not the most elaborate structure, but it's certainly an important part of pier history. In 1952 there was a fire that destroyed the 150-metre structure, but rebuilding started immediately and the pier reopened the following year. And during a time when there's a resurgence in ballroom dancing across the country, it might be time to ask, is Blackpool losing that kiss me quick hat image and becoming trendy again?
I think Blackpool is really starting to lose its kiss me quick image. I think people have looked at it over the past 20 years and really sort of tried to think of it as being a traditional seaside resort. Blackpool isn't like that. It always dares to be different. Great Promenade Show is actually part of our first regeneration work, and it really was done as sea defence works to begin with, but being Blackpool we couldn't leave it like that, so what we wanted to do was bring in lots of artists and bring in something that was a little bit different and unique to the resort. So you'll see down there the world's largest glitter ball, you'll see fantastic metal sculptures called Desire. It really is something now that people can go up and down, enjoy the sculptures, which light up at night and give a whole new dimension to the promenade area. I think the glitter ball really is the symbol of something that Blackpool's been very famous for, and that's ballroom dancing. And we've been very fortunate here that we've had the World Ballroom Dancing Championships for a number of years. And up here in the Tower Ballroom, of course, people dance in here on a daily basis for something like 11 hours a day.
Remind me to bring my dancing shoes next time I'm back here in Blackpool. Welcome back to Go Northwest. Today I'm on the Fylde coast to see what it has to offer, and thankfully the sun's joined us. And I'm delighted to welcome to Blackpool, Steph Elmore.
Did you know that each year more than 2 million postcards are sent from Blackpool? $500,000 candy flosses are sold. And Friday's a donkey's day off. Did you know Doctor Who started way back in 1963 and 2005 saw a new series returning to our screens? Blackpool boasts the most extensive collection of Doctor Who programme exhibits. 600 rare costumes, props, monsters and artefacts are on display at the museum, including the Doctor's costumes and his assistants. And if that isn't impressive enough, all the props and the costumes were actually the ones used during filming of this very popular series. The museum is also interactive, with the displays lighting up at the touch of a button to reveal what lurks behind. And you can even get a chance to meet the Doctor himself. Do you think I could be your next assistant?
Well, the TARDIS is this way, my dear.
Oh, great. I'll lead the way then, shall I? Probably the most important part of the tour through the museum is in here, the TARDIS. You can walk through the recreation of this classic time machine with the famous console. But do beware, watch out for the monsters. There's no mistaking this fellow. Exterminate! Exterminate! You are in our path! You are in our path! This part of the museum is home to the largest collection of original Daleks, and they're all together in one place. Remember these? Many of the metal creations from the classic giant robot through to K9 himself. This place is perfect for kids and adults, with over 5,500 square feet of science fiction to feast your eyes upon. Well, that's it for my trip to Blackpool, and I've had a fantastic time. But I thought I couldn't come here without having some of these.
Steph Elmore having some great fun here in Blackpool.